What's up, everybody? This is another episode here in Nolan's Pod. Today, we're going to be talking about Major League Baseball. It's only 2 days away. Today is Tuesday, and it starts opening day on Thursday. So, we're going to be getting into some Major League Baseball here. So, without further ado, let's go. First of all, with the American League East, I have the Baltimore Orioles finishing first. Before I even get into Baltimore, I want to say that it was a tragic, horrifying, horrific accident this morning in Baltimore. A ship crashed into one of the Baltimore bridges and it demolished the whole bridge. So I wanted to say my heart goes out to the families that were impacted with this horrific tragedy. The cars that just got across just in time, thank God that they got across just in time. And the cars that were just trying to pass through did not make it and were sunk in the water as the impact of the ship hitting the bridge. That's what it resulted in. So my heart goes out to those people. They say that they are looking for those people underwater. Obviously, I have not heard anybody be pronounced dead yet, and hopefully, in this case, hopefully nobody is dead. Hopefully everybody lived and everybody is able to get to safety. My question is, how do you have such a big ship? I seen the video. This ship is big, but the ship is big enough that it should have been able to go under the bridge safely without hitting the bridge. That's what I want to know. How in the world could this big ship hit a whole bridge? That's the first question that I have. But that goes to show us that the time we have on this earth is precious. You cannot take these days for granted because we don't know what's going to happen one day to the next in this world with all the crazy things going on in this world. So it's just a reminder, never take any day for granted. When you wake up, you thank God for waking you up first and foremost, and you pray. And we always hope that we have better days and we don't have to go through days like this as a world. So again, my heart goes out to those people in Baltimore who have to deal with this tragedy. When they woke up this morning, I'm sure those people thought that they wouldn't have to deal with something like this. So I wanted to address that first and foremost. Now, back to the American League East and predicting the division. The Baltimore Orioles, I think they're going to finish first in the American League East because they have a lot of youthful exuberance with the Adley Rushmans, with the Ryan Mountcastles, with the Anthony Santander, Cedric Mullins, Gunnar Henderson. Then they got the young kid who they just sent down in Jackson Holiday. He's the top prospect. They just sent him down. He's going to be really good. And they just sent him down because they want him to get some reps or whatever. But he's going to be back up shortly in no time. He is going to be a stud for real. They signed closer Craig Kimbrell. We know what Craig Kimbrell can do. So we know what Craig's going to do. He's going to close those games. And they traded for Corbin Burnes, number one ace from the Milwaukee Brewers. They traded for Corbin Burnes. Are you serious? He's the number one ace. They're going to go places. They are going to go places. They just won 100 games last year. They're going to win 100 games this year, too. Number two, I have finishing in the American League East is the Tampa Bay Rays. Obviously, when you look at the Rays roster, you say, oh, okay, these names are not appealing to us. They don't have any stars except for like Randy Arozarena. Other than that, these guys, they are not appealing to us. They are not appealing to us. But Kevin Cash and this ball club always overachieves every single year, and they perform up to the expectation that we don't even expect them to perform. So, and Kevin Cash is always in the voting for manager of the year every single year. So we know that the Tampa Bay Rays are going to be right there. Third in the American League East, I would say the Toronto Blue Jays. Obviously, they have the Bo Bichetts, the Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s. They have those guys, the Kevin Gausmans, Chris Bassett's, you know. But they underperformed last year. And even though they finished over 500 last year, they still did not make the playoffs. It was not a typical Vladimir Guerrero Jr. season. It was not a typical Toronto Blue Jays season. And they need one thing they need to do, they need to hit. They need to hit. They lost Matt Chapman. They were supposed to get Ohtani, couldn't get him. They were supposed to get Cody Bellinger, couldn't get him. And both of those guys were free agents, so it's going to be an interesting season for Toronto to see what they do. They still have the talent to still do it. The question is, are they going to be able to do it? Fourth in the American League East will be the New York Yankees. You know the New York Yankees just lost Garrett Cole. He's on the IL for like 2 months. DJ LeMahieu is hurt again. And they rely so much on Garrett Cole because he's their number one ace that everybody in the Yankees staff is going to have to pitch in one by one and try to do their job. If Garrett Cole and DJ LeMahieu were healthy, I would probably have the Yankees second in the American League East. Nestor Cortez and Carlos Rodon are definitely going to have to step up, and they couldn't even get Blake Snell in free agency. So that's another thing. They couldn't get him in free agency. So Yankees, man, y'all have some work to do already. Finishing fifth in American League East, as weird as it sounds, is the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox have plenty of money. Their organization is filthy rich, and they did not go out and spend any money. And Kenley Jansen and Rafael Devers made it known that they were not happy with what the organization did with not spending money. The Red Sox are filthy rich with money. They could spend all day long, and they chose not to do it. So we don't really know what's going on with the Red Sox. Obviously, they're not spending, which is something that they are known for. So they're going to finish fifth because their roster does not really have the talent that they need to have to compete. Transitioning to the ALC Central, I'd have the Minnesota Twins finishing first. The Twins always seem to finish and get in the playoffs. But when the postseason comes, it's a totally different story. The AL Central is a weak division. So the Twins, you should be all right. You should be okay. Finishing second and third in the AL Central, I have Detroit finishing second, and I have the Kansas City Royals finishing third. The Detroit Tigers and the Kansas City Royals are similar, and they have been rebuilding for probably about 3 or 4 years. Both teams have been rebuilding. It's time to take steps forward, Detroit. It's time to take steps forward, Kansas City. You've been in the rebuild long enough. It's time to take the steps forward to progress. Y'all need to be progressing and not regressing. It's time to take the steps forward. Taking another step back, and that's going to be fourth in the AL Central. I think that the Cleveland Guardians are going to take a step back. I really do think they're going to take a step back. They're not a home run hitting team. They're not going to be this year. They weren't last year. They're going to rely a lot on their pitching, rightfully so. I think they're going to take a major step back. And Shane Bieber, their ace, almost got traded. So even though he's still on the team, that's a sign that they're taking steps back. And fifth in the AL Central is the White Sox. They're starting their rebuild phase. They've already started their rebuild phase, so they don't have a lot of talent to play with. And we know that they are not really going to be a threat at all. So transitioning to the AL West, the Houston Texans, the Houston Astros. The Astros are always going to be a force to be reckoned with. You still have Alex Bregman. You still have Jose Altuve. You still have Yordan Alvarez. You got Kyle Tucker. You got Luis Garcia. You got Lance McCullers, who's coming back. You got Justin Verlander, who's coming back. You got a lights-out bullpen. So y'all should be going back to the AL CS, the American League Championship Series. Y'all should be going back there. Y'all should be, and y'all expectations should be, you're going to the World Series. That's what it always is with Houston. Y'all already know how I feel about Houston and their cheating scandal, how they cheated to get to that World Series. Finished the second in the AL West is the team that won the World Series, the Texas Rangers. I expect nothing less for the Texas Rangers to do what they did last season or to get close to it. Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, Marcus Semien, those guys. You got Jacob deGrom's going to be coming back this year. Max Scherzer's going to be coming back this year. It remains to be seen if they're going to sign Jordan Montgomery back. He's still a free agent with only 2 days to go in the opening day. So they're going to be forced to be reckoned with. Don't be fooled and let them say, oh, this was just one season. They had a lucky season. No, the Texas Rangers are going to be back, period. Third in the AL West is the underachieving Seattle Mariners. Last year they had a chance to get in the postseason. Couldn't do it. It was disappointing. They were like the Toronto Blue Jays. They were over 500, but still did not get in the postseason. When you have the talent of Julio Garcia, Luis Castillo, to Tom Murphy's, when you have that talent on your roster, the Cal Raleighs, the Ty Francis, when you have the talents on your roster and you're underperforming, something is wrong. The Seattle Mariners need to get back to the playoffs this year. They have the talent to do it. They're like Baltimore. They have the youthful exuberance to do it. So it's no excuse to why they shouldn't go to the playoffs this year, unlike last year. Finishing fourth in the AL West, in my opinion, will be the Los Angeles Angels. You still got Mike Trout. You still got Rendon. But you don't really have anything else other than that. You know what I'm saying? Ron Washington is their manager, and we know that Ron Washington, knowing him, he's going to get them to play their best ball that they probably ever played in the last 9 to 10 years. But I still don't think that they're a threat against Houston. I still don't think they're a threat against the Rangers. I don't think they're a threat against Seattle. So it'll be interesting to see what the Angels do. Mike Trout, bro, please leave. Go to another team. Your time is running out in your career to try and win. Please go to another team. Please. Mike Trout, come on, man. Finishing fifth in the AL West is the Oakland A's. We know the A's are in rebuild mode. They're just like the White Sox. They're going to be in rebuild mode. They're probably going to lose 100-plus games this year, just like the White Sox. Transitioning to the NL, the National League side of things, in the NL Central, I have the St. Louis Cardinals finishing first. You might say, why do I have the St. Louis Cardinals finishing first? Well, they got Nolan Arenado. They got Nolan Gorman. They got Paul Goldschmidt, Goldie. They got Lars Nootbaar. They got Tommy Edman. They revamped their pitching staff with former Cardinal Lance Lynn. They got Sonny Gray. They got Wilson Contreras. It was a weird year for the St. Louis Cardinals not to finish where they were supposed to miss the playoffs. They missed the playoffs, and they were not one of those teams that were over 500. They were well below 500, and it was an odd, weird season to see how those St. Louis Cardinals played baseball. I can guarantee you right now, I have them finishing first in the NL Central. They will make the playoffs this year, and they will rebound. What they did last year was not Cardinals baseball. That was not how the Cardinals play at all. It was inexcusable how they played on that field all of last year. They will bounce back and make the playoffs this year. Second behind the Cardinals in the NL Central, I say the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs have Dansby Swanson. They signed Cody Bellinger back. And they got a lot of those other guys back. The Seiya Suzuki's. They got a new manager in Craig Counsell who's going to lead those guys. So the Cubs, they were trying to go for it last year and almost snuck into the playoffs last year. If Seiya Suzuki makes that catch against the Braves, they might make the playoffs if it wasn't for that. Obviously, we'll never know. But they were close. I expect the Cubs to do a lot of great things this year. The Cincinnati Reds they are going to finish third in the NL Central. The Cincinnati Reds, they are literally the Baltimore Orioles of the National League. They have a lot of youthful exuberance on their side. Watching Ellie De La Cruz is like watching Ronald Acuna Jr. Those guys can fly when they get on the base paths, and when they hit it out the ballpark, it's not a little tape measure shot. It's a long shot. I love watching Ellie De La Cruz last year. He is phenomenal. He is going to be great. No question about it. They have a lot of youthful exuberance on their team. They have a pitching staff. They're like the Baltimore Orioles. I'm telling y'all, they like Baltimore. They like Baltimore. They just in the National League. Finishing fourth is the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers lost a lot. They lost a lot of pieces. And although it kind of looks like they're going into rebuild mode, they're saying as an organization that, no, we're still going to compete. Well, no, not to me. It don't look like y'all really going to be competing for much. Y'all kind of have the same roster y'all did last year, but some of the people, especially like Corbin Burns, your number one ace, gets traded to Baltimore. So when the front line of your pitching staff gets traded away, it don't look like you're going to be competing to me. Finishing fifth is the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates are in rebuild mode, but the Pirates play very great baseball in the first half of the season. Then, of course, in the second half of the season, they tailed off. They're in that rebuild mode too, but they're coming. The Pittsburgh Pirates are like Cincinnati. They're going to be coming too. They have to be progressing and not regressing. The NL West, I have the Dodgers. We know the firepower the Dodgers have. I have the Dodgers finishing first in the NL West. Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Jason Hayward, Tyler Glasnow, and their pitching staff. Will Smith, Max Muncy, Chris Taylor, Gavin Lux, you name it. They have star power everywhere you look at it. Finishing second is Arizona. Arizona improved and went to the World Series last year, but they improved this offseason. I have Arizona finishing second. Behind them, I have the San Francisco Giants, who made moves. They got Jung-Ho Lee. They got Jorge Soler. They just signed Blake Snell. They got Matt Chapman. They got Jordan Hicks. Even though they improved a lot, I still have them finishing third in the NL West. Finishing fourth in the NL West would be the San Diego Padres. They traded Juan Soto. He's out of there. They revamped their bullpen. They're 1-1 so far with the series with the Dodgers they just had last week. Finishing fifth in the NL West is Colorado. Colorado's in rebuild mode. They don't really have anything working for them. It looks like they're probably going to regress instead of regressing. Colorado won't be interesting to watch because they're in rebuild mode. Going to the NL East, y'all know I have the Braves finishing first. Y'all know I have the Phillies finishing right behind them. Those two teams are going to compete for the NL East all year. The Miami Marlins are going to be third. The New York Mets are going to be fourth. And the Washington Nationals are in rebuild mode. They're going to be fifth. I am more than excited for this MLB season. It's going to be a great year. And you know, my Braves are looking to win their 7th straight NL East crown. I expect them to do that. It's going to be a great year of baseball. Baseball is back in full effect. It's a lot going on. We play the Phillies to open the year at Citizens Bank Ballpark. We're looking to send a message from the last 2 years that we lost them in the playoffs. And we're going to beat them. I guarantee you that. That's all I have for you guys today. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys later.